See?
Yeah, it looks really good. Anything else happen in the way of news?
No, not really. It was mainly covered with election last week. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. There wasn't really too much of nothing. Something happened with did Pedro Pascal yell at fans or something?
No, he was getting in with the like the never Trumpers or like celebrating the election basically. And fans were like, "Oh, they're he's outlawing his Trump fans," and it came down to that. So
it was all dumb and extra political then nonsense.
I didn't plan on talking about it, honestly.
No, I was asking just because I'd seen a thing on like, there was like a YouTube video with a weird title, and I was like, I don't even want to click on that. And I scrolled past it, but I figured you would know if there was anything to it.
Yeah. So the big thing is the trailer, which we're already live, by the way. The big thing's the trailer, and then Mando season 2.
Mando, yeah. The God, what was the name of the fucking episode?
The Passenger?
Passenger. Okay, that's what. Yeah, The Passenger. Man, I got some stuff to say about that little adolescent shit that's growing into a little turd.
Please hold while I tweet the link.
Sure.
Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
That's gonna be I think that's gonna be something special.
So my plan is to just we go in, we do the network plugs, talk about Lego Star Wars, ad break, Mando.
Sure.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Record is important. And 3, 2, 1, podcast magic. I'm just kidding. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Star Wars Alliance podcast, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for all things Star Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Katie Elstrap, and with me, as always, Nathan. Nathan, how are you doing?
Hey, Katie. Hey, Star Wars fans. How is everybody doing today? This evening? Whenever you're listening to this, morning, evening, noon, night, whatever.
Hey, don't steal my ending line, man.
Okay.
We don't have much to talk about today, but we did get a Lego Star Wars Holiday Special trailer, and we had another episode of The Mandalorian. But first things first, before we get into all that, Nathan, why don't you go ahead and do the network plugs?
Okay. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance network, where you can find a show every day of the week, and sometimes 2 shows during a day. But you got shows like World's Finest True Believers, where Chris Balga and guests take a deep dive into a comic book arc of the guest choosing. You have DC Alliance on Tuesday with Greg and Travis Hines 57, and they talk about all the news and happenings with TV news, movies, anything, comics, anything in the DC just sphere. And then on Wednesday you have Mr. Travis Snail, Mr. Snail as he likes to be called, and Chris Balga again with Marvel Alliance, where they do the same thing with Marvel, anything TV, animated, movie related, they cover that. And then on Thursdays you have Star Wars Alliance with me, Katie. Hi. And on the bi-weekly you have which is the sexiest of weeklies, as everybody knows, you have Katie doing Slice of Film, where Katie and guest take you down a trip down memory lane with a film of yesteryear and do a little review of it. And then on Friday you have Superhero Discussions with Travis and Greg again, where they go over an animated movie or TV series and review it. And then Friday nights is Super Civil Servants, where we go live at Friday night at 9 o'clock Greg time on YouTube, and then the audio drops Saturday morning. And then there's also Weird weird DC Comics.
Weird Science DC and Weird Science Marvel.
I can never get it right, and I'm sorry for butchering the name, but yeah, DC and Marvel on Saturday and Sunday, and new addition to the show, I think it's bi-weekly as well, is Ranger Alliance, where they're going to cover everything in the grid, as they say in the Power Rangers universe. So and there's also a Patreon account where $1 just says thank you to the show, helps keep the candles flickering, as Travis likes to say. And then there's a $5 tier, which gets you exclusive ad-free episodes, exclusive episodes, early access to episodes. And I would also just like to say congratulations to the Geekverse guys on raising quite a bit of money for the Children's Hospital there in British North Columbia there. Yeah, they did a 24-hour stream, and they raised a lot of money. And
$2,025 was the final total.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's really awesome, and that goes to a great cause. Anytime you can help a kid out, that's, in my book, that's a great cause. I just want to congratulate those 4 individuals for doing all that, and anybody else that jumped on and all that other stuff. But congratulations to them.
We did lose the trivia. I screwed up.
I know. I know. 57 texted me and said that you lost it for him on a Star Wars question, and I texted him back the gif of Anakin going, "No."
So number one, it was so Tyler did a great job with him, and we were able to come back. But the last question was worth 3 points, and he was like, "Oh, I know this is like the final 10th question for Geek First, but I thought it would be fun if we did it this way." And I was like, "Oh, I got this. I totally got this." And he did the quote. Yep. That's no blank, or that's no moon. That's no moon. Blank. And I said, I rang in and I said, Death Star. And I was like, Katie. As soon as I said it, I was like, no.
Exactly. It was Anakin as he turned into Vader. No.
Exactly. I just answered it too fast because I was like, oh, that's the Death Star, duh. And I'm like,
Katie,
no, how would they have known it was the Death Star?
I get it. If I had a nickel for every time I heard too fast, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding.
For those listening and not watching, I just gave Nathan the death glare, but I'll give an obligatory Nathan.
Whatever.
So yes, Geekverse did an awesome job, raised $2,025.
Really
can't wait for next year. So
yes. And hopefully next year they can double that. If not, you know what I mean? Hope every year I hope it moves up for them, because that's a great cause.
Exactly. One thing you always forget though is that this podcast does have ads. And while
you're right.
Most times we do try and give y'all some advance warning, we do just want to let y'all know now that we don't get to choose who the ads are from, but thankfully there's no more political ads, right?
Right. So hopefully we'll go back to our law office ad that come on all the time, where they think our listeners are just klutzes, and if they hurt yourself and you fall and this and that, there was this one law office ad that played a bajillion times before it got all political. So hopefully we'll go back to that.
Yes, hopefully. But the other thing is we don't get to choose how loud the ads are. So we'll try and give y'all a warning, just to kind of give y'all a chance to turn your volume down. But we do appreciate any and all listening to ads, as it does help support the podcast. So with that, let's talk about Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, because man, did this come at the right time for me to get some happiness in my life, because I saw the trailer come up. I was like, I must watch immediately, and it was beautiful.
I will admit, listeners, I literally just watched it before we started, because I was supposed to do it for homework, totally forgot about it, and then I watched it before this, and I'm so glad I did, because Lego always does a good job, and they're always so tongue-in-cheek and making a good story, but staying faithful to whatever they're adapting or whatever. But I didn't know that I needed Rey falling through the different eras in Star Wars and seeing all the different things, but that's really cool. Yeah. I heard D. Bradley Baker's voice in there, which is awesome, coming back for the clones and stuff. Was that Was that goddamn Daisy Ridley? Was that her for doing the voice of Rey?
No, I think the main people that they've pulled back from the movies is Billy D. Williams. God, I can't remember her name.
Is that James Earl Jones too? Because he sounded an awful lot like him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because he's getting up there in age, and I hate saying that because that man's a national treasure, and he's getting pretty elderly.
Who? Oh gosh, I can't. Why can't Rose Tycho actress's name? Kelly Marie Tran.
Yes, Rose Tico.
Yeah, she's here. Billy D. Williams is, and then there was one other person I think from the movies specifically.
Okay.
But I do
good imitators.
Yeah. So the YouTube description of the special is Rey sets off on a new adventure with BB-8 to gain a deeper knowledge of the Force. At a mysterious Jedi temple, she is hurled into a cross-timeline adventure through beloved moments in Star Wars cinematic history, coming into contact with Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and other iconic heroes and villains from all 9 Skywalker saga films. But will she make it back in time for the Life Day feast and learn the true meaning of holiday spirit?
If they don't go into, like, if there's not a drive-by mentioning of like B. Arthur or Chewie's family, like Itchy and all that, if there's not some kind of like offhanded joke or something about it, like they are so dropping the ball on this. But with Lego, I have no doubt that they are going to do that, because I mean, if you looked at any other Lego movie and stuff, like they do a great job. Like I said, like, you know, placing tongue firmly in cheek and just making fun of themselves. So like, I am actually looking really forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, they've got kind of the poke fun moments at all cases, like Lando getting a present and he's like, oh, please be a cape. Please be a cape. But I'm like, that's Lando for you. And then you've got bare-chested Kylo Ren in there, which everyone on Twitter has been kind of poking fun at.
And the Emperor saying, "Put a shirt on," like I loved it. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
You got both Hans taking a Greedo, like both taking a shot at Greedo to shoot first. That's a great little call out. It's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be really good.
You've got Rey and Darth Vader like awing at the baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was a nice touch. I wasn't expecting Mandalorian stuff to be in there, but that's really cool. But I mean, baby Yoda, how do you not put him in everything?
Exactly. He's just so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think if there's anything else. This comes out November 17th. So we'll be able to cover it in 2 weeks from now episode. So that will be your homework, Mr. Nathan. Do not forget this time.
I will not, because I will have plenty of time. That's like next week or next Saturday or this Friday.
Actually, it's next week. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah, because today we're recording this on the 9th and the 17th is next Tuesday.
That's what I thought. You get fun fact. I'll be able to watch it in the morning because I'm on vacation next week. Yeah, so I will definitely be getting that in. Can't wait to watch that with the kid. He's gonna love that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good breath of fresh air.
Even my wife will watch that and laugh. And she hates everything Star Wars except for The Mandalorian. Oddly enough.
Well, I mean that's really about it. There wasn't with the election coverage and everything, there wasn't really a whole lot to.
Everything took a backseat to let that have its time in the sun.
So news really didn't happen. But obviously we still did get our Mandalorian episode this week.
Some very interesting things in this episode, or chapter, shall I say, of The Mandalorian.
Yes. I don't know how long we've been recording, but it's been about 15 minutes.
Whatever, let's throw our first ad and we can jump right into Mando. That's what people want to hear about anyway.
It's exactly, and I think there's a lot to talk about with this episode. So
there's definitely some interesting things to talk about with this episode.
Yep. But listeners, you heard the man. We will take our ad break now. If you're watching live on YouTube, we'll see some podcast magic and come right back. So, and 3, 2, 1, and we're back. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it, don't we, Nathan?
We do appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate it. We know you're gonna fast forward anyway, but we appreciate you guys, fooling us and letting us think you're listening to it.
Chris is piping in. He says toddler Yoda now. Which
yes, I would agree. I think I would agree.
Yes, I think we all agree. When we get down to it, Mr. Baby Yoda or Toddler Yoda or Yodito, whatever you want to call him, he got into some mischief in The Passenger.
Little yodeling.
But first things first with this, we are doing one-word reviews. So if you're a listener and you want to get in on the fun next week, just drop a one-word review on the Star Wars Alliance Twitter. And we will read it live. So the 2 we got this week, or 3 actually, because Chris actually did give us one in the chat. Patrick Johnson said his one-word review or recap is gulp. Nice. Tony Walton, one of the hosts of Ranger Alliance, said he gave 2 words, but I'll pretend there's like a little hyphen there.
We'll put a hyphen.
He said child killer. And Chris Balga, host of Marvel Alliance and World's Finest True Believers, said egg-tastic.
I would say disturbing with a question mark.
Yep. That's right along the lines where I was like, right. Shocking would probably be mine because and obviously at this point I will go ahead and throw a disclaimer in. We are going to be talking about spoilers for chapter 10 of Mandalorian. So
yes.
If you have not seen it and do not want to hear spoilers, here's your sign.
Right. Get the F out. No.
So we meet a new character this episode. Right now, she's only known as Frog Lady.
Frog Lady.
And Amy.
We meet 2 new characters, really. Amy Siddiq is Pogo. What's her name? Poyo?
I'm looking it up again because I can't ever remember.
It's a P. Poyo or Pagayo
Pelly?
Or Pelly. Yeah. See, I knew it was a P.
Cast and characters.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not helpful. Anyway.
But I like that she was back, and I find it hilarious that Peyton Reed, director of Ant-Man, put an ant-like creature in here to be who he gets the information from, which, bravo, Marvel. Bravo, because if you don't catch it, you don't catch it. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you do, you do. Bravo.
Yep. It's quite funny that he gets the bug episode.
Yes, and I think his name is like Dr. Thorax or something.
Dr. Mandible.
Yeah, Mandible. The ant creature, which and I think that's like awesome because it's like the costume or the puppet or whatever is kind of like in A New Hope in the cantina. We remember with like the praying mantis kind of creature there in the cantina, and like the eyes were kind of like, I don't know. I think it's cool that they made this Dr. Mandible look like his puppet looks similar to that because it just fits in the world. It just looks like something that should be in Star Wars, and especially in the cantina and stuff. So I just thought that was nice.
And it's funny. I actually just got done. Matt showed me a snippet from chapter 5, the Gunslinger, and you can actually see Dr. Mandible, Frog Lady, and R5 in the cantina when he walks in. And I knew we had talked about R5 being in the cantina, but I didn't realize that Dr. Mandible and the Frog Lady were in there.
Well, so. we did. I mean, we probably did, but we didn't think it would matter until like all of a sudden bringing it back, 5 chapters later.
Yep. But Amy's character is Pelimoto. We got to remember that because she's gonna come back. She's just a great character. Like every time she's on screen, like everybody loves her. Like every time she's on screen, it's just like you just feel like she's like your aunt. Like everybody's got that one aunt who's like her, who just like spits it off the cup and laughs and just kind of says it how, you know what I mean? It's just, she just feels like, I don't know, to me, she feels like everybody's aunt, that pistol of an aunt that everybody has. Yeah. And I thought we were going to see Boba Fett again in this episode. Like that was how the armor was going to get taken. But we stay on Tatooine for the first part of this and then we're in space.
Well, I like that it literally picks up right where we left off of him leaving Mos Pogo or whatever. Yeah, Mos Pogo, the cantina where he got Pelgo. Yeah, damn it. I can't say or remember anything, but yeah, he's leaving from there. It picks up right from there because he's on the same speeder bike. He's got the Boba Fett, armor on the back of it, and the little yodeling, and he's taking off. And then like those bounty hunters, man, they just like out of nowhere, they know he's coming, so he's being tracked without even knowing he's being tracked, or somehow there were those little trackers, the key fobs or whatever that he got in the first season, like. I gotta know, like, how do those things know where we're at? Because somehow he's being tracked because those people found him, especially out there at that one that's not even on the map. Like they found him out there on his way back from there, so he's being tracked somehow. I'll be curious to know if we ever find out if there's a way that, like, those little clickers or trackers, like how somehow they code his DNA, or if he's been seen or what.
I wonder if that'll be explored in the original novel that Adam Christopher is supposed to be writing. I think that would be a good opportunity to kind of give some information for fans that were kind of looking for
those key fobs or those fobs or whatever.
Before I forget, Chris, I totally missed what you were saying this to. But Chris says that is spot on, Nathan. I thought that too. I don't know what he's referring to. But he did say that. So
Chris, tell me what you're talking about.
I don't think he's watching now. But
we love you, Chris.
We love you, Chris. I find it interesting that, so obviously we knew that the egg container, so if you look at the trailer, the egg container is present in a couple of the shots. So we know whatever is going to happen out of this episode, things are going to move forward. And maybe we can talk about that later, because I forgot that I should probably mention that the spiders freaked the heck out of me.
Yes. The same spiders from Rebels.
Yep.
From whenever they try to make their base on that weird planet thing. Yeah. Shout out to Dave Filoni making an appearance once again as Trapper Wolf, his New Republic X-Wing pilot. Because I think that's awesome. Of course, Dave Filoni's name would be Wolf, Trapper Wolf. Which I think, I think this is cool, but like he used to come back, which I thought was pretty cool, which explains those two shots in the trailer that we saw, of like the one, it looks like the X-Wings are escorting him. And then that one shot where they're opening their wings and like getting ready for, which is just like such a cool shot when you're watching. He's going, like, he finally sends it and like, there's no reply or whatever, or they tell us to switch to another channel or whatever. And all of a sudden you just look and the X-Wings just fucking drop back one little, like a half a hair and those wings open up. You're just like, oh God. Like, I mean? It's just like, yes, like, here we go.
Yeah, Matt was like, what are they doing? And I was like, oh, they can't fire weapons when the S-foils are closed. So they're opening them up.
Open her up.
You've got Paul Sun Young Lee as Captain Carson Teva. And he's most known on Kim's Convenience, I think. So he stars as the other X-Wing pilot in this.
I noticed that he got all the dialogue, which makes sense. Dave Filoni's not an actor, so like Dave Filoni got a word or two, which it totally made sense for the other guy to be like the captain or guy above him or whatever. You know what I mean? The guy that's like making the demands and stuff of Mando.
Yeah. And D. Bradley Baker actually cameos as the voice for the Frog Lady.
I did hear that, which I still wish like they would give us like Jabba subtitles or like Greedo subtitles. Like, come on, man! I want to know what weird, lady's saying, and I want to know what Dr. Mandible's saying and all that. Like, give me some subtitles, damn it.
So I think we'll get to that point because she did get a poster. All she's known as is the Frog Lady, which sucks. But at the same time, what are you going to do? But I think we'll get to the point when we do get subtitles. I think the point of why we don't have subtitles for her speaking at this point is because the Mandalorian doesn't understand her. So then what's the point of the audience understanding her when the main character doesn't understand?
But shout out to how clever Frog Lady is by taking Zero's head and hooking up to the voice box and translating it, which to make him understand just like how dire a situation she was in. Maybe Mando doesn't feel, but she's trying to express it to like, look, maybe this is, a hard day for you, but for me, this is like the end for my species, which takes me to my point of Baby Yoda. Like, okay, one little egg is okay, that's funny or whatever. 2 eggs, but like he eats like 4 eggs. And I'm like, did this lady just not say that like her and her mate have to fertilize these species on a planet so that they can save their species? Like, come on, he's just over here popping 4 of them down like they're sardines or whatever he's doing, or Pez.
I think that plot point could have been ginormously minimized because that, other than that, I thought it was a great episode.
Me too.
Like,
but I just thought like he's blatantly eating the last of her. It would have been different if it would have just been like there's a billion of these, maybe her eggs are a delicacy or whatever, but like they literally put it as a plot point to be like, oh, I'm the last. We can't use hyperspace because it'll kill my eggs. And if we do that, I'm the last of my species, me and my mate, and we'll die. And like, now we just got Baby Yoda. And I like how he just sucks him in.
Which brings me to an additional point, I guess.
Okay.
I saw on the Peter Sharetta from Slack Film, he said they were talking about it, and they're wondering, we do see the egg container in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
The scene that it was in the trailer was not pictured in this episode. So what they're wondering is if there's going to come a time when the egg container breaks or the eggs aren't viable, but then all of a sudden Baby Yoda coughs them up and was actually saving them, and they were viable because they were in him.
Yeah.
Way out of left field. I know. But I also didn't think he was going to eat the eggs.
Okay, see now that I would personally, I would consider that a viable theory if we hadn't seen him eating frogs on planets and eating bugs, and like he wasn't eating, and literally in the same episode, like cracking open the spider egg and picking basically the baby, like the death, and just eating it, and like which is what starts the spider uprising. So like I would totally go with you and think that maybe he was preserving them, but no, he's just a little piggy and he thinks everything. He just eats everything. Like we saw him grab that little frog right in his mouth. Oh God, he doesn't care if it's alive or dead. But he's eating that shit raw.
And I think that's the big point that people kind of have to latch on to is, okay, he's made the decision here. Like the writers have made the decision to have him be an eater and just eat anything. At this point, he's more of my dog than an actual person. Right. I've never dealt with a toddler. Please don't come at me.
Okay, see, my son will be 4 in 2 weeks. And we dealt with him like putting things, but not just like eating everything that moved or like that didn't move, but like he putting things in their mouth. Sure, that's a toddler thing. Not like just smashing every random thing they see.
Yeah, which, and I don't get why when Din, I mean, he had other priorities getting the ship involved, but when he catches Baby Yoda under the blanket eating the eggs, I'm like, why didn't you move it?
Exactly. Okay, first of all, also in the same breath, if Frog Lady, if these eggs are so valuable to your species, like why are you leaving them in the cargo hold while you're right up front? Why not just put them up front with you in that? There's an extra like you can put them right next to you, in front of you. Like they can go up there in the only pressurized part of the cabin, because we saw you do that when the rest of the ship wasn't viable to pressurize. She had them in there, so why wouldn't you keep hold of those anyway? Writing plot hole, episode plot hole, whatever. Neither here nor there. I just think it could have been a little different. That was my biggest problem with the episode. I watched it 3 times, and all 3 times, like I said, one egg joke, ha ha ha, and like a one at the end, ha ha ha. But you put, was it 3 or 4? I can't remember for what I read, but like I want to say it was 4, and I'm like, all right, it's a little bit overkill, guys.
Well, and that's not even including how many eggs he ate. It was just 4 different moments where they showcased him eating eggs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't even know how many he was just digging out of there.
So it's like really frustrating. Matt wants to chime in. He says, babies will try to eat a lot of stuff. Good to know.
They will. Well, I do like that. Like Filoni is slowly making from his animated universe, like he is slowly bringing in all these cool things from Clone Wars and Rebels to be like, no, guys, look, like here's it is in live action, like the Darksaber, and you know what I mean, like this, like these little spider things that were on that planet. I can't remember the name of the planet.
So I can't remember the name of the planet either, but the spiders are actually featured in original concept art for The Empire Strikes Back. Like they were going to be on Dagobah.
Ralph McQuarrie artwork?
I think so.
Cool. See, that's really cool because I know that Rebels took a lot of inspiration from, and Solo and Rogue One did a lot of Ralph McQuarrie like designs that didn't get used. I want to say Solo used a lot more than the other films, but I think that's cool. But like I said, I just like those spiders because we saw Kanan and Hera and the Ghost crew set up on that planet, and like Kanan eventually learns to walk through these spiders and like tames them with the Force, and they're not always like flesh eating beasts, but like, and especially seeing them in this, and then the really big one, like, whoa. Like that thing, those things were messing up the Razor Crest, like messing it up. And I thought it was cool, but at the same time, season 2, we're only 2 episodes in, and both episodes were a creature feature. They literally fought the Krayt Dragon, and it was all like the Sand Snake, Krayt Dragon, like creature feature in episode 1. And now the second one, they're literally running from like creepy crawly spiders and stuff. Like, I get it, I'm all for that, but literally back to back in the new season, like we could have maybe spaced those out. I don't want to sit here and act like I'm, crying about the episode or whatever, because I really liked it and I'll watch it over again. But if I'm going to add critiques, I'm just going to add the critiques that I think could make it work a little better or flow a little better.
Which, and I do think that, I think it brought some interesting aspects up. Like, obviously, Din is still searching for other Mandalorians, and hopefully the Frog Lady will help lead him in that direction when they get to the system of Trask, because the planet that they're going to is somewhere in that system. He doesn't know where they're going, just knows I'm headed in this direction. The other thing that I find is interesting is the appearance of the New Republic X-Wings. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this is a one-time pass? Because like Trapper and what's his name? Carson said, the Mandalorian has a warrant out for him. The Razor Crest has the warrant attached to it. So do you think they reached in and said, okay, you know what, we're gonna knock away this warrant? Or is that warrant going to come back to bite him later in the season?
Well, see, I think they told you right there. I think that I think that's the latter, and that they expunged it because they said that like you had the warrant for breaking out Twi'lek guy or whatever, but they saw that you also tried to save our New Republic guy. Like you did what you could to save him, like so much so that you were drawing guns on your own men or whatever to like we aren't going to kill him, and then you rounded up 4 other ones and then sent the tracker to the other place. So like. I think, for the one guy that they got out and they literally blew him up, 2 hours later, an hour later, whatever it was after they came out of hyperspace, I interpreted it as like, here's your clean record. Like, here's your clean slate, Mando. Like, don't mess it up. That was just my interpretation. Could it come back and bite him? Sure. But my interpretation was like, basically like, Trapper and the other Carson were like, all right, we got you. We're good. Take off.
Mm-hmm. So this episode was... I would tend to think that it's expunged. I lean in the same direction. It's kind of expunged, and they kind of got rid of it. But at the same time, there might be another ship that comes by and
you don't think they wipe it out of the database?
I don't think they're gonna wipe it out of the database. I think they made a note and said, "Here's what we got."
Interesting.
But they also did tell him to fix his tracker, which they know if he's got his beacon going.
He could basically just pass through, right? Yeah.
But also the beacon would throw on the warrants. So that also makes me think that they expunged it and they got rid of it because they're encouraging him to get the beacon up. Whereas if you're letting him go but encouraging him to get this beacon up and the warrant's not gone, then what's the point? You're just setting him up for next time, really. So this episode is directed by Peyton Reed. I thought he did a pretty good job. Like, there's a lot of good imagery in here. It's not a content heavy episode. It's definitely that creature feature, creature of the week, whatever you want to call it. I find it interesting that this was the ice planet that so many of us thought was Ilum or...
Was it though? I don't remember really seeing the deep trench in this episode. Like the one the one picture from the trailer I can remember flashing, that it showed there was a quick flash over the deep trench. And then the rest of the stuff where he crashed through and slid in, like all the other stuff. Look, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just didn't use that shot in the actual show,
See,
because that could happen sometimes too.
Yeah, I thought
maybe I missed it.
I thought the trench was present in this episode, but I could be wrong too.
Well, maybe I like I said, maybe I just can't remember. But there could be a return to like Tatooine. Like we know why we were there, Boba Fett. You know what I mean? And like. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it could just be a one-off or whatever, but like maybe he has to go back to this planet, or maybe we'll come back to that area because he knows 2 New Republic flight, X-Wing pilots there that patrol this area, and maybe he needs a favor. We'll kind of some information on Moff Gideon or what. This is all just me spitballing, but like maybe there was a reason for this. You know what I mean? Maybe not necessarily now. Maybe in season 3 he's got to jump back to this specific space, you know what I mean, just because he wants to talk to them or something. I don't know, like maybe it's not all for nothing, you know what I mean, because now this feels like a really just throwaway episode, but at the same time Frog Lady does have viable information for him once they get to where they're going. So let's say next episode opens up and they're at the place that they need to go, like, so then you could really take off from there again, with his mission or whatever. But right now this just kind of feels like a throwaway episode.
And you got to think about it. A lot of people thought Gunslinger in season 1 was a throwaway episode, but then you've got R5 that comes in, you've got the Frog Lady, you've got Dr. Mandible, and Dr. Mandible didn't have a huge role. Yeah, the bone.
They came back, yeah.
So it feels almost Game of Thrones-esque, where you throw in a lot of good hints in the early seasons, and then you tie those back together as the story goes on.
You know what I do like though? I love one of my favorite things about this, and I know it was completely unintentional because they were working on it like as it was coming out. But you remember what was everybody's biggest complaint about season 1? Oh, Tatooine, we're gonna make the stuff we want. I want the new stuff. Where? And then it was like, it's just nostalgia, it's just fan service. Season 2, first episode completely dedicated to Tatooine, so much so at Boba Fett. First half of episode 2, all Tatooine. And basically it was just like them saying, suck it, guys. The reason why everybody fell in love with Star Wars, the original A New Hope, when it was just called Star Wars and it was on Tatooine and people loved that. That's why people fell in love with this universe. So suck it. Yeah, we're going to spend some time here for a little nostalgia and to expand upon the planet, the world, and the mythology. I don't know. Maybe that's just my cynical mind thinking, but I just think that's hilarious because there were so many people. Get fan service. Yeah, suck it. We like fan service. I'm a fan. Service me, okay? That's how I look at it.
I'm glad you went in and explained that, because your first make fun of things, I couldn't understand half what you're saying.
I know. There's somebody out there right now chuckling, being like, I get it. There's probably 3 people going out there like, he's such a dick.
So what else did you find about this episode that you liked, disliked? You watched it 3 times, which was 2 more than me. So
to your point, this was I felt like it was a very contained episode. Like a little over half of the episode took place on the Razor Crest. You know what I mean? And it's been, now obviously it's not the same size as the Falcon or whatever, but like that's what a lot of people loved about the original trilogy, was like those times on the Falcon where like you would get 5-10 minute scenes or combination scenes, and it's just them like traveling to space or like going through or getting out of something just to build the camaraderie. But like this one, like she doesn't talk, Baby Yoda still doesn't talk, but like the majority of it took place in the ship, and it worked because like we get Mando's perspective of like, he's kind of basically talking to himself because he can't talk to them. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just kind of like we were along with him, like a day in the life of Din Djarin, and like we got to bird's eye view through him instead of I feel like every other episode, it's almost like we're looking around him, where this one I felt like we almost were him once we got to once we got past the Raiders in the beginning and once he got on the ship and on his way, I kind of felt, like I said, like when he's chasing Baby Yoda down and stuff, it felt like we were actually looking through his eyes for once, or that's how I felt anyway.
Yeah. Another point that I wanted to make was I'm reading the Wikipedia plot summary, and they're talking about the final scene, kind of where the X-Wing pilots find them. And they make the comment, there's an arrest warrant on the Mandalorian for freeing a dangerous prisoner. They also note that the Mandalorian confined 3 other criminals and defended the prison guard, and so they are willing to overlook the incident. The Mandalorian asks for help, but they leave warning that the next time they might vaporize his ship. So I don't think they.
You're right. They didn't expunge nothing. They just looked the other way this time.
Yeah. Which I don't remember that verbiage entirely.
I don't either.
They were just like, how about you fix that beacon? And we'll see about next time.
Yeah, because I watched it closely twice, and the third time I was dicking around doing other things, but I still don't remember that verbiage. Either way, I still watched it, okay?
Yeah. So we talked about the director. The average rating on this episode is 6.75 out of 10. That's really about it. It's a very contained episode. It feels very filler, but we still know where the plot's going. It's not entirely filler, but I'm saying the common term for what this episode feels like is filler.
Well, I do, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, in the beginning, those 3, I'm assuming bounty hunters, they were tracking him. They knew where he was going to be. They were lying in wait. And the first thing they said was get the child. So they're not even after Mando. They're after that child. So did Moff Gideon employ them? Is there a third part? Is there another different party after them? Because if Gideon, I mean, maybe he is, because maybe he just wants to take all, maybe he's one of the guys that wants to cover all opportunities. Like, I'll send my men out. I'll keep my spies out there. But I'm also going to hire bounty hunters just to close my net in, or, circle around to every option available. Yeah. But I don't know, like Gideon kind of seems like the kind of guy, like if he'd get wind or would know, like he would have a tracker in his battalion or whatever. I don't know. Like, do you think it was Gideon that hired them or a third party or the guild that kicked him out?
So remember, the guild didn't kick him out. The guild has accepted him back.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Greek Carter tells me. Yes.
Which, and it maybe makes sense that they may have hired a different bounty hunters guild. But my thing with the bounty hunters guild is that they had the trackers, and anytime that anytime that they were hunting a kid, the tracker was focused on. Like in chapter 4, where the Mando leaves, you see the tracker that the hunter has, that he was going to shoot before Cara Dune got him. But there's no, correct me if I'm wrong, but in that bounty hunter scene, there's no tracker present. It's just get the child. So I'm thinking it was probably Moff Gideon.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we know that there's a secret Imperial presence on Tatooine. And so someone may have reported him, because we don't know how long. That's the thing about Star Wars. You don't know how long you're at somewhere. And you don't know who's behind the scenes and who would report someone, if that's giving them enough time to get to Tatooine.
It's got to be Gideon. He just seems like a guy that would cover all his bases and extend every opportunity to find. Like they say, like, for instance, like I don't know, let's just use like gang members, for example, or whatever. Like, they don't tell the cops or call cops or use for nothing. But if someone to abduct their child, they're going to have their guys looking, but they're also going to get every opportunity to get their child back. So they're going to call the cops or whatever. Like, and I feel like Gideon would do the same. Like, he's going to send his troops out. He's going to send his spies out. But at the same time, I'm going to take this gold or a couple credits I got here, and I'm going to throw it towards these bounty hunters just to tighten in my search net a little bit, or, make a cluster of the wall, and just to throw more opportunity out there. So that way, if it's one of my guys, great. If it's one of the bounty hunters, great, money well spent. You know what I mean? If it's one of my spies, either way, he's just gonna cast every net out there.
Yeah.
And man, I can't wait till we get more of him. Like, because the way John Carlos Esposito was talking about, like, he trained for the Darksaber fights and stuff. First of all, like, that guy, he's such a great villain, such a great villain. And what little we saw of him in season 1, and and what little we saw of him as Moff Gideon in season 1, like, I can't wait to bring that back and just see how much more maniacal, or just like how how dark, because like we saw him wipe out one of his, remnant brother or whatever you want to call him, like they shot up the entire cafe and wiped out every one of those old troops. You know what I mean? So like he's ruthless, and I'm ready to see more of him.
Yeah, I completely agree. So is there anything else about this episode you want to talk about?
No, I do love, like I said, I love Dave Filoni got a shout out in there. I liked that we were back on Tatooine. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was a cute little wink and a nod that Peyton Reed brought, the ant into the Star. You got to direct it. That's a little funny, haha. Baby Yoda stopped being an a-hole and just eating the last of a dying species. Like she's literally trying to save the last of her kind, and you're eating all of them. Stop it. The spiders in live action, really cool. And
creepy
I did
as hell, but yes, yeah, cool.
Right. And like I said, I did like, I don't know, maybe there's been other episodes, but it jumped out to me this one that I felt like I was really like in Din Djarin's boots in this one. I liked it. Like I felt like I was in his head because, like I said, because no other character spoke English, so it's like him talking to himself, and I just felt like I was in his head with him. You know what I mean? When he's like, "Where's he at?" and looking around and going, and then he finds the babies. No, stop! Like I just felt like I was in his head with him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Overall, great episode. Other than eating 4 or 5 or 10 or however many eggs he little shit sucked down.
Yeah. So what would you give it out of 10?
I mean, 7.5, 8, which is good. I mean, I'd say it's somewhere in there. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's right in there. It's good.
Yeah, I'm sitting at a 7.5. And it's mainly because I'm really mad about Baby Yoda eating eggs.
You know what? I think that's it too. Me too.
I like it. Otherwise, like the spiders are creepy, but they were really done well. So I don't really have any other problems with the episode other than maybe give Frog Lady a name. Like I don't want to just call her Frog Lady.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. And I did think it was funny that like she's running upright, and then when shit got really south, she started jumping like a frog, and I was like, all right, that's pretty funny.
Yep.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
I will agree with that. But where do you think the last thing really we got is where do you think we're gonna go next episode? So obviously
I have no idea.
In the trailer, I mean, we saw the Razor Crest limping along, like you called that out when we first saw the trailer and we talked about it. Like
looked derelict, yeah.
So, and like obviously it looked like it was beat up. The back was open. So we know it was beat up. So that could be the perfect opportunity for that part of the trailer to come in, which really leaves us with almost no there's
footage.
We've got the ship.
Oh, the boat. Yeah, the boats.
Water.
Yeah.
And then we've got them walking through town and Sasha Banks. And that's it in the trailer.
Yeah, you're what? Yeah, I think yes. Yeah, I think you're right. I was trying to think of something else, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Which that's impressive to me, especially like covering a full season and like trying to work in so much. Like
which means the back half is gonna they probably saving the really cool shit that's we're gonna be like, what? You know what I mean? And I totally like we talked about, I totally think you and I called it. I really think episode 5 is where we get Ahsoka, because that's when Dave Filoni directs, and that's his baby. Like if you're bringing Ahsoka in, it's got to be the episode Dave Filoni directs.
Well, so 2 things of news that I actually forgot is we did find out Carl Weathers is directing episode 4, which is not next week, but the week after. Mm-hmm. We knew Dave Filoni was directing episode 5, and the other thing is that the rumored Cara Dune show is confirmed to not be happening. Leslie Hyland, the female director who's directing a female-centric Star Wars show, her show is supposed to center around martial arts in a completely different time period than what we've seen before. It did say era. So it could be like a Legends era show, which is I'm hoping for, because that would be open some cool doors. Mm-hmm. But that was what her show focused on. And then the other thing is that it's rumored that a Boba Fett show will start filming next week.
Really?
That was all combined in a Hollywood Reporter article.
I will take it. I will take that. The female centric martial arts show, like that could be very cool, especially like let's just say they which whatever, because I have no idea other than just going off the name. But like, what if they treat it kind of like the Night Sisters planets, where on Dathomir, like the men and the women are all like in dark magic. You know what I mean? Like the whole planet kind of does that. It kind of looks darker. So like, I wonder if it's gonna be like a martial arts planet where like they practice, or like a religion, or if it's gonna be like some kind of cool like force enhanced, like when she goes to do like a kick, like she can jump, she can do the Liu Kang bicycle kick for like 40 yards just because she's flying. Kind of, I don't know. Like it's interesting. Like how does that fit in, or like where do you put it, or what kind of martial arts show do you put in the Star Wars universe? You know what I mean? Like that's fascinating. I'd be very curious to see what she does with that, or what her idea is, or whatever.
So so what she said, and this is via Coming Soon. She said, I would say it's in a pocket of the universe and a pocket of the timeline that we don't know much about. I kind of see if Star Wars is a religion, I like to think of my show as a tent revival. You can come over if you want to. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff. Martial arts elements will also explore the Star Wars universe geographically, not unlike an Indiana Jones movie.
Cool. Hey, Indiana Jones, I'm down. Let's go. Yeah, I'm down. So I wonder if it'll be like Dr. Aphra, like ninja martial artist, just like going around planet to planet. Probably not. But I'm just saying that could. I'm down for the adventure type. You know, I'm all for a good swashbuckling adventure.
Yeah.
Boba Fett show.
Deadline rumored that, not the Hollywood Reporter. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Boba Fett show. Where do you go with that? Because is it? Well, we saw him there, so is it going to be like post that, where like what he's doing between post Sarlacc and Force Awakens? Like
maybe it's all it was given was season 3 of The Mandalorian could be delayed as a Boba Fett miniseries would film first starting next week, with The Mandalorian season 3 following a month-long break.
Only if he goes and gets IG-88 and Bosk. Like I wanted to roll up and like Bosk and IG-88 are just kind of sitting around just being like, I'm Boba Fett. Guess who's back, bitches? Like he just comes in and sits down and just hears spurs. Where do you go with that? Does he go and find the retired Bad Batch? Does he go and find does he go and hunt down some like old clones? Like where do you go with it? Because well, I'm sure we're gonna find out more, but from what we saw in that first episode, he's obviously been retired. Like he could have got his armor back at any time. He could have kicked the shit out of Cobb Vanth and took his armor. Like this is Boba Fett, you know what I mean? Like Cobb Vanth, great marshal or whatever, but he could have walked up unsuspectingly as Cobb Vanth and just kicked the shit out of him and took his armor back. So he basically what I'm saying is he stepped away from it on purpose. So what would make him, which I'm sure we're gonna find out, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure what's gonna make him get back in. So I don't know. That's an interesting premise.
So Chris said the Russian Doll showrunner's show might be a Dr. Aphra show, which I would disagree because you're going to run into issues with it would be cool. Obviously, she is Indiana Jones of Star Wars right now, but it's in an era that we know of, which is why I disagree. The other thing he said is the Boba Fett show, My Years Inside the Sarlacc, called Me and My Sarlacc.
I like it. I'll watch it. I'm giving it a straight to series order, 6 episodes. I just want, what if the show's just one? What if the show's just like one episode and it's just one word? Like somebody asking, how'd you escape the Sarlacc pit? He just says, it just found me someone indigestible. And then it's just, bah, 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 bah. That's all it is. It's just a mini movie of just, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm. That'd be funny.
I'll take it.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm always game for more Star Wars. So
me too. And like I said, that holiday special, like that really does look like it's gonna be something special. And come on, Disney, like put the holiday special proper on Disney Plus.
Please?
I know
I've never seen it.
And get the Ewok movies on there. Oh, you can look on YouTube right now. You can watch the full movie on YouTube for free.
But like what I'm gonna do is for
and the droid cartoons and stuff. Oh yes, there you go. That's a good idea.
I gotta get some Christmas movies on there anyways.
And like I said, I still think it's a miss if Lego Star Wars doesn't have Baby Yoda and the Ewoks meet, like that's another missed opportunity. Because just think, as I said last episode, think of the merchandising. Like you got these cute little plushies. You can have so many stuffed animal cells and just little teddy bears and little baby Yodas and just squish them.
Yes.
So I think I think they should do that in the holiday special, and it's a missed opportunity if they don't.
Yep. But I think that's all we have here.
That's all I got.
Nathan, you can't find on Twitter right now, so we'll just skip you.
Sure. You can find me here. Katie, where can I find you and the show?
So you can find me, my personal Twitter, on Twitter, of course, at KGullStrap13. You can come talk to me about anything, really. I really don't care what we talk about. Right, I'm here.
She's here for you.
The show is on Twitter at Star Wars Alliance without the A and the Wars. And feel free to send us a DM if you want a topic covered or if you want to ask a question. We're always game to cover anything. So
send in your one-word episode reviews for Mandalorian too to the handle.
Send them in, please. I want to read them. I think it's fun. The other thing is that the next episode we will be talking about From a Certain Point of View Strikes Back, because that comes out tomorrow. I'm very excited. So Nathan, you're gonna have to read some of it.
I mean, I will not lie. There were 2 or 3 stories in there that did sound very interesting, and I'm very I would love to actually hear how those play out or read them. So I may have to track it down.
From your library.
Hey, good call. You know what? That's actually a really good call. I could do that.
Yes. Everyone go support your local library. They're doing a lot of electronic downloads right now, trying to help with COVID and everything. So go support them because they need your support. So do it.
Speaking of support, if you guys feel so inclined, please rate and review this on whatever podcatcher of choice you're using. A 5-star review and a written review pushes the algorithm. It does a lot to push this show out to other people. And if you're watching on YouTube and that's the way you prefer to consume this, I think they say, hit the little thumbs up, right? Put a comment there, tweet it, share it, whatever you got to do to somebody you think might like the show or find a topic that we talk about interesting. Just any little bit of sharing and promotion and rating, it really helps us. I mean, hell, even if you want to put, like 1 star on there, like whatever, we don't care. We'll take all criticisms. We'll take it all, but just rate and review. It would just help us greatly.
Yep. You want to get other Star Wars listeners listening to us or any other show on the network, really, because we are all under the same podcast section.
We all listen. We all talk about the same things. Like if there's something really cool that we talk about on Star Wars Alliance tonight, on Friday nights when basically the whole network gets together on Super Civil Service, we can bring it up again and you'll find out what, Greg and Travis think about it, who do DC and Chris and Kate, me and Katie talk about it again, and Sarah and so everybody on the network, it's all a great big happy family and we all talk about the same stuff, but we just kind of break it up. So like I said, anything you push out there, rating, review, it really does help us out. It helps the network out and it's greatly appreciated.
Exactly. But on that note, we don't have anything else for you. So check back in. We will be here Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about The Mandalorian Chapter 11.
I was just going to say one more time before we leave, congratulations and great job to Geekverse Podcast on their charity donation. I just want to say, I just think it bears repeating and congratulations to those guys. And that's a great cause and that's a great job that they did.
Yep, exactly. Great job, guys. Can't wait to do it again next year. But for now, have a good day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching. And we'll see y'all next time. May the force be with y'all.
Always.